So, what do you do when the people around you are not your type of people? uh, I was gonna say something different, but uh, I mean, as a light worker, starseed, awakened, consciously aware of not being the person and all these things, it makes you stand out of the crowd, of course, because in general, people, they live in their own little bubble, scrolling their phones. Even when, I see it happen so often here. I mean, I eat out every day, pretty much. Sometimes I cook for myself. But yeah, going out is about the same price. So why bother cooking for myself if I can be served, right? It's a wonderful life I'm living. Um, yeah, you know, they enter like a couple or a complete family or a group of friends. They, they enter the restaurant, they get the menu, they order the food, they turn on their phone, and it just scrolling, completely unaware of the other, and this used to be our most common social event, sitting around the campfire eating food, shedding sharing conversation, being together. So of course they created a machine, a device that will keep you from socializing, you know how did we get to this point? Amazing, huh? You might be someone who does this, and yeah, it might be very normal for you. You might not even realize it, like, oh, that's not very social. Uh, ah, my coffee is coming, so let's wait for the coffee.
Sorry.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, she's a good example. She's such a sweetheart, and from what I can tell, a total perfectionist. Not judging, no, just noticing. And yeah, so why would she say sorry, right? She knows I'm recording videos here every day, and I tried like 3 or 4 times in the beginning to start some sort of conversation. So often when I enter here in the morning, there's no one here because it's still very quiet. It's still low season, and yes, she just sits there in the phone right now. Same thing. Bring the coffee, go back, phone. And um, for a while, uh, yeah, this was especially when I was still together with my ex. Me calling her ex already. It's been only 2 months. She's still around, so it's kind of weird still. Weird situation, but yeah. So back to subject. what do How do I deal with people who people are different than me. Let's stay as neutral as possible. Because pretty much everybody is different than you because, yeah, you are unique. Like I am unique. We are all very unique. And yeah, in the spiritual world, you're not really allowed to speak about levels because, yeah, uh, you're not better than anyone. No, but I'm definitely way more aware than like 98% of the human collective. Which I'm not claiming to be better. No, I'm just more aware. And I don't mean conceptually. Of course, I talk about concepts, but I always speak about these things from lived experience. I'm no spiritual teacher telling you how to live your life and how to become awakened or enlightened. No, no. Awakening to me means a process. It's a process you enter. And I used to say, exit the matrix. When once you exit the matrix, once you step out of identifying with the persona, once you stop reacting from the ego mind, from your programming, and you just become aware of the programming, you just become aware of your conditioning, of how you were raised and what everybody is just regurgitating, repeating, you're not doing anything new. You're just repeating, repeat, 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 repeat. You know, go to work, come home, have some food. If you're lucky, some sex. Go to sleep. Next day, go to work. And then, yeah, in Europe, we have like a weekend. The week has ended. And then maybe you have 1 day off, 2 days off. Or, yeah, maybe you chose and your company allows you to take another day off. I used to have a Monday off always. And here is, they basically work every day, 10 hours a day. Yeah, I'm gonna save the cookie for later. Every day, beat. So, I see these people sitting in their phone, whole families, as soon as they have ordered the food, and when the food arrives, and sometimes even when the food arrives. How did we get to this point? It's crazy. I think it's crazy. It's designed that way, you could say. It's designed to keep you distracted, so you don't become aware. But yeah, the manager here, Agung, we have had some interesting conversations because he talks from his Balinese culture perspective, explaining me, sharing what his life is about. Like today, he has a ceremony starting at 7, ending at 7. And that's normal to them, this their rituals. Traditie is what they call it, tradition. But that's the thing, I don't judge him for not being aware because, yeah, the things we talk about, I explained to him how I see the whole, how my ex-girlfriend is reacting right now and acting and what she's doing and what she's going through, and I see her pain, and I know probably probably I can see things she cannot see herself yet. I hope she does. I really hope she does, because that would make a huge difference for her to go through that process. And yes, she chose to, you know, continue alone. We had wonderful conversations every single day. We went through deep processes, but at some point, uh, I noticed I need to take care of me a little bit more. And yeah, that's when things started to crumble, in my opinion. Slowly, slowly, slowly. The push pull. Pull. I need to have you close by. Uh, Push. You're too close now. No more sex. Pull. I need you to come with me to Thailand because I have these anxiety attacks. Push. The next day, starting a fight about nothing. Well, in my experience, nothing. For her, it was a huge thing. So me having to cancel the flight, going to a Malaysia trip on my own, and then a Lembongan trip, and I am okay with it and being alone. And yeah, sometimes the program of loneliness creeps in, and then I had a really nice conversation with the video I posted yesterday. So talking with Agung about how I experienced this whole thing, because yeah, he was trying to help me. Like, listen, maybe you can record a video and send it to her. I wrote a letter. Yeah, months ago, she tore it apart. She threw it away because yeah, it's all about you. Yeah, I was trying to explain my situation in the hope you would understand my situation and therefore see that I'm not the bad guy. And yeah, I'm actually glad she didn't, because then we might be still in the same predicament, in the same situation, and this just had to end. You know, when you're in a codependency relationship, it's not healthy. No. So then I felt like I have to explain Agung the whole, well, tell him my vision about what I see it's happening with her. And then he understood. He was like, yeah, that's heavy. And yeah. Feeling sorry. And then I noticed, wow, that's not really helpful. If you feel sorry for someone, you put them energetically, you put them in a place like there's something wrong with them. No, there's nothing wrong with her. She's just making choices that sometimes are not helping and sometimes they are. That's what we do every day. We make choices. Consciously or unconsciously. Doesn't matter. You make choices. Every single moment, you choose your next single moment. You know? From moment to 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 moment. That's how we create reality in every moment. So yeah, I remember a remark by someone after I told them what I talk about with uh, Agum. Like he would not be able to understand this. No, I just, Same as in my videos. I can adjust. And when I do the reality check episodes, I go in a different mode. You can clearly hear it in my voice. I speak a little bit louder, a little bit more enthusiastic, because I love to make these kind of videos. Diving deep. I love conversations diving deep. And sometimes, after half an hour, sometimes after 3 hours, it's too much. Because diving deep, it also brings up a lot. And yeah, then you have these kind of episodes. Just sit, talk. Slowly. Smoking a cigarette and drinking my coffee. Once you start realizing that thoughts, people thinking is going on here, might be, I don't know. I sense thoughts more in my field, like thoughts, just in my mental field. Thoughts can come from anywhere. And then there's feelings, and if there's physical feelings, physical sensations, they usually make me aware of feelings on that's things that are happening in my emotional feeling body, field, whatever you want to call it, aura. And all these layers, these bodies, this just it's concepts we created to maybe understand it a little better, comprehend it. It makes sense, it makes conversation easier. But it can also confuse the hell out of anybody when I start talking. Sometimes people ask me when I tell them I'm a YouTuber, so what do you do? Well, I talk about conscious and awareness from lived experience. It's my one-liner nowadays. Or I just say, consciousness, awareness, and then, oh. There's one really sweet girl at the Indian restaurant. I like to have chicken biryani. It's very good, very spicy. Not like hot spicy, but more like a lot of spices. And a little bit spicy. I always ask medium. That's spicy enough for me. And she asks, actually, so what does it mean, consciousness, awareness? And I started explaining, like, being aware of this and aware of that. Yeah. We started talking about astrology, and she knew quite a few things about her own. It's interesting, huh? So, like I talked about in the video yesterday, if you're surrounded by people and you have this feeling that or this vision, this image, that they're low in vibration, and this also influences you and lowers your vibration, then you're actually creating that story, that reality yourself, and therefore you yourself lower your vibration by believing in this story. And that's like a total different way of living. total different way of experiencing life. When you realize, I'm the creator of my own reality, so everything that happens externally is just a mere reflection of my inner state. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's difficult. I'm not saying you have to learn this step by step. I am saying if you want to know more about this and you want to dive deep into this and you want to take like a step by step, check the reality check playlist. Really, it has a nice build up. It's like a progress. You're progressing slowly into letting go of the identity and then the uncomfortableness that happens after, and then diving even deeper, and you start to notice like and that's not a promise. No, see it as a as a tour guide. Might be fun. All right, that's it for today. A lot of swaying. uh, I will leave a link to both playlists here and here. Cheers.